Today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious and controversial topics out there, the Wagner Group. You might have heard of them in the news, especially in connection with conflicts in Ukraine, Syria, and a bunch of other places. But who exactly are they? What's their role, and why do they matter? Let's break it down. What is Wagner Group? The Wagner Group is a private military company, or PMC, that has been linked to Russia, but the thing is, it's not officially recognized by the Russian government. They are often referred to as mercenaries, but that term doesn't fully explain who they are or what they do. They are more like shadowy, military contractors with the power to get involved in conflicts without the Russian government getting directly involved. The group itself is believed to have been founded by Dmitry Utky, a former Russian military intelligence officer. Their name, Wagner, comes from Utky's call sign, which he reportedly chose after the famous German composer, Richard Wagner. So, that's where the name comes from. Wagner's operations. Wagner has been involved in military operations across the globe, Syria, Libya, the Central African Republic, and, of course, Ukraine. Their role is often to support Russian interests in these regions, but their involvement is murky and hard to confirm since the Russian government denies having any formal connection with them. One of their most high-profile operations was in Ukraine, where Wagner troops were fighting alongside Russian forces. In fact, Wagner's operations in Ukraine are often tied to accusations of war crimes and human rights violations, which has made them infamous. These guys are involved in some of the most intense military action you can imagine, sometimes in really controversial and dangerous situations. Why does Russia use Wagner? So, why doesn't Russia just send its official military forces instead of using Wagner? Well, the Wagner Group gives the Russian government a way to get involved in conflicts without having to officially take responsibility for them. It's kind of like using deniability as a strategy. If things go wrong, Russia can just say, "Oh, that wasn't us, that was Wagner." Wagner can also be used for more covert operations, like destabilizing governments or supporting friendly regimes without it looking like Russia is directly involved. It's all about keeping things behind the scenes while still achieving military and political goals. Wagner's reputation. Now, let's talk about what really makes Wagner so infamous. There are plenty of reports of their brutal tactics, from targeting civilians to carrying out operations that violate international law. There's a lot of secrecy around their operations, and not much concrete information is available about their activities on the ground. What we do know is that they often act as a kind of muscle for Russian objectives in war zones. In some cases, Wagner has been linked to gold mining, illegal arms trading, and other shady businesses to fund their operations. They've also been accused of helping to prop up authoritarian regimes by providing military support in exchange for resources like oil or minerals. This has led to a lot of criticism, especially from human rights groups and international organizations. How big is Wagner? It's hard to know exactly how big Wagner is, since they operate in secret, but estimates say the group could have anywhere from 1,000 to 10,000 personnel at any given time. They are not just random soldiers, they are highly trained, often ex-special forces types, and they are paid well for their services. Some reports even suggest that they recruit mercenaries from places like Africa and South America, so it's a pretty global operation. Wagner's leadership and connection to Putin. So, here's the big question: is Wagner really connected to Russian President Vladimir Putin? Well, it's a bit complicated. While there's no official confirmation that Putin controls Wagner, there are plenty of reports suggesting that they are closely tied. Some sources say that Wagner is used as a tool for Russian foreign policy, while others believe that Yevgeny Prigozhin, a Russian oligarch with close ties to Putin, is behind the group. Prigozhin himself has denied any connection with Wagner, but the evidence pointing to his involvement is strong. He's known as Putin's chef because of his catering business that provides services to the Kremlin. So, yeah, there's a lot of speculation about whether Wagner is a direct extension of Russian power or more of a side operation that supports Russian interests unofficially. The future of Wagner. So, what does the future look like for Wagner? Well, that's tough to say. Their operations in Ukraine, in particular, have put them under a lot of scrutiny. There's been talk of disbanding or limiting private military contractors, but as of now, Wagner still seems to be going strong. And considering the ongoing conflicts they are involved in, it's likely that we'll hear a lot more about them in the coming years. Wagner is a reminder of how the lines between government and private sector can blur, especially in the world of international politics and warfare. Whether you think they are just a tool for Russian influence or a rogue group doing its own thing, one thing's clear: they've left a big mark on modern warfare and geopolitics. Alright, guys, that's a wrap on our look at the Wagner Group. It's a complex and often troubling subject, and there's still a lot we don't know about them. But one thing's for sure: they've had a huge impact on global conflicts and will likely continue to do so for years to come. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe Covert Site, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good time, my friends.